Yesterday we began factoring trinomials using the tic-tac-but-no-toe method. So, what does it mean to be in factored form, and why are we factoring trinomials? The whole point of factoring is so that we can see the expanded version of the polynomial, so it's broken up by multiplication. But the trinomial is going to be the simplest form, because that's when everything is multiplied together. So, using the tic-tac-but-no-toe method, we can put a trinomial into factored form, and if we want to double check to make sure that it is correct, we can go ahead and multiply our factored form through to make sure it matches our original trinomial. So in this first example, I have 2x squared plus 6x minus 108. I notice that this has a greatest common factor of 2. So I went ahead and factored out a 2 here. When I did that, we were left with x squared plus 3x minus 54. Then I used the box, the tic-tac-toe box, to help us figure it out. I plugged in a times c to get negative 54 in our top left box, and our b value is 3, so I plugged that into our bottom left box. Then I know some factors of negative 54 that add up to 3 is 9 and negative 6, because 9 times negative 6 is a negative 54, and 9 plus a negative 6 is the same thing as 9 minus 6, which is 3. So when I go ahead and put it into factored form, I brought down that 2 right here that we left, and then I have my x plus 9 in one set of parentheses and x minus 6 in another. And we can go ahead and double check to make sure that this is correct. So we have 2, then we have x plus 9 in parentheses and x minus 6 in parentheses. First, I'm going to distribute that 2 through. So I'd have 2x, because 2 times x is 2x, and then I have 2 times 9, which is a positive 18. And now this new quantity is still getting multiplied by x minus 6. So I know I can distribute. So I would have this 2x multiply x, and that 2x multiplies to that negative 6. So I can add 2x times negative 6. And then we have this 18 I need to multiply to every term. So I have 18 times x, and I have 18 times a negative 6. And now I can simplify. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times a negative 6 is a negative 12x. 18 times x is a positive 18x. And 18 times a negative 6 is a negative 108. So if I go ahead and combine my like terms, which is the x's in the middle, I'd be left with 2x squared plus 6x minus 108. And if we look, our final answer does match our original trinomial. Now if we look at my second example, we have p squared plus 11p plus 10. There's no greatest common factor to factor out, so I'm going ahead and starting to use the tic-tac board. A times c is 10, and b is 11, so I place those into our left-hand side. And I know that 10 times 1 is equal to 10, and 10 plus 1 is equal to 11, so I filled in our empty spots with 10 and 1. And I went ahead and put it into factored form, p plus 10 and p plus 1. Now, if I go through to double check our work, this time I'll use the box method. Okay, so I'm going to take my p plus 10 and plug it up here. I have p and 10. And I'm going to take my p plus 1 and plug it on the side, p and 1. And now I can go ahead and multiply. So I have p times p is p squared. I have p times 1, which is just p. I have 10 times p, which is 10p. And we have 10 times 1, which is 10. So if we take the inside squares and combine our like terms, I would have first p squared plus 10p plus p plus 10. Again, I'm combining these p's, so I'd be left with p squared plus 11p plus 10, which this is exactly what we started out with. So we know that we have the correct factored form.